Good evening, everyone. This is Joe Henches, and this is a market update for Wednesday, October 9th. Well, the market really took it on the chin today. The Dow is down almost 160 points, and the chart we've got up first here is the Dow Industrials. You can see that it clearly has broken through this trend line. So this support line here, which is pretty negative. I mean, the sell-off has continued. We came very close to taking out this low. The low is 14,760, and our low today was 14,773. So very close, and honestly, I don't think it's going to matter because I do think it's going to probably take it out. I mean, we're so close to it, and the selling pressure. We closed almost on its low. I know the S&P 500 closed on its low. Well, thought it did. 55, yeah, well, fraction 0.42 off its low. So a lot of selling. It sold off, then it rallied, then it sold off. It kind of held around when President Obama was talking this afternoon, held around minus 110, 119, 120. Rallied back a little bit, then sold off to 160 right at the end. So there's definitely not a lot of optimism right now in terms of what's happening in Wall Street in Washington. So you can see the trend line on the S&P 500 has been broken. And in reality, I think I may have mentioned this last time, we may have some kind of a rising wedge here with the S&P 500, but be that as it may, the trend line has been broken. So and you can look at the selling pressure here with the directional movement indicators, DI plus and DI minus. When blue is above the red, buying pressure is occurring. When the red is above the blue, selling pressure is occurring. And so you can see that it has started to get amplified and continue to break down on the 500. The next one we'll look at is the Nasdaq. I mentioned on Sunday that the Nasdaq looked very negative, this rising wedge that you see here, and now it's just rolled over and broken right down at it and closed almost on its low again. All the markets closed on its low. So now, when I look at a rising wedge, these things have a tendency to retrace themselves all the way back to the beginning. That's why I'm putting in here a target. It looks like it's quite a ways down, but that's what I've got to look at. Say, okay, well, here's a previous high. Support could come in where it did right here, but I've got to say, well, there's a good chance that this is what's going to happen. We start looking at the rally, looking where we've been. Even a pullback to there isn't. It's not like we're going into disaster mode or anything, but it will be one heck of a sell-off. So that's what I think is occurring here. So that's affecting a lot of the NASDAQ stocks. This New York Composite, this was very disappointing. But I had mentioned, I think, even last week, several days ago, that there was the possibility because of the Dow and some of these others acting negatively that this could roll over and fail. And it looks like that's what it's doing. So it's getting support. It's ended up right at this trend line that I had drawn before. But I got my doubts as to whether it's going to hold. Let's see. A couple of the stocks. Okay, let's take a look at two stocks that I'm in. One I was talking about, and this is Broadcom, and I had said, okay, if I get a close above Friday's high in here, let me get rid of this for a minute. This is Friday's high here on the 4th. Okay, 2669. So on Monday, it pushed up a couple of ticks, closed back down. Today, pushed up a little bit, opened a little higher, and then sold off the whole rest of the day. That's why I wait for the close, because I have just been stopped out way too many times, whipped out because of things like, moves like this, and then it turns around and sells off. So I am still in here with puts. I have 26, strike price right here, 26. I'm still thinking it's going to retest this low, and that's what I've got in mind. And if it breaks this low, there's support lower down. The next one is Expedia. I told myself this morning to watch this, and as I was looking at stocks in the pre-market, I noticed this rising wedge. Again, these wedges have a tendency to either occur, as I mentioned before, at the end of a major move. They're like the fifth wave, or they can be rallies in a down move. Okay, and you get one heck of a drop here, and then you get this type of rising wedge coming out of it, and then it rolls over and breaks down. So this was looking negative. I wasn't getting an official sell signal by a couple of my indicators that I have that I watch for. Again, the DI minus hadn't crossed above DI plus until today, but I saw it starting to happen during the day. This trend line had been broken. When I saw this wedge, I was just like, okay, I got to get in. So I have got puts. Now, here's the thing. I do think a big move is coming on this stock, and that's why I bought 45 puts, November's. So I've got some time. They're way out of the money. I normally don't do that unless I sense a big move and some kind of chart formation is driving the decision and the trading decision in here. So that's what I'm looking at. They've already gone from bought it for $128. They're bidding 165, I think it was at the close, 160 at the close, asking 170, and they traded higher than that during the day. So they've already gotten a good pop, and if this thing continues to sell down, by the time I even get to the strike price, because in November's, they're going to be up well over double my money by the time I get down in here. So we'll just have to see how it trades out. Now let's look at some of the stocks that I said we were watching on Sunday. I never got a close on Apache above this high, so we never got a buy signal. Chesapeake, same thing. Looking for, a close above this high here, and it just didn't happen. I thought it might happen today, but it's not following through. Qualcomm, it was same thing. I was kind of looking for it, but in reality, Qualcomm is the reason I was looking for a buy in here is because the trend, the 50 is over the 200, the 20 was over the 50. I'm trying to go with the trend rather than trying to play sell-offs here. But I actually did have a little sell signal in here. But again, I'm not trying to play the sell signals on this until I see something turn around and get into a downtrend. So we'll have to see whether this gets any kind of support and starts to turn back around or whether it continues to roll over. My preference is to try to play with the intermediate to long-term trend as much as possible. KLA 10 core was another one we were looking at, was looking to see if we could get a buy signal. No, actually, I got a sell signal today. Now, I did not do anything with this one, but if you were going to buy puts, I'd almost wait till it pulled back to the 10, the blue line, so you kind of monitor the 10, or buy first thing in the morning. But first thing in the morning is always kind of a crapshoot. There's a lot of chaos first thing in the morning. That's why I like buying right before the close. So just that's my personal preference. Now, 3D Systems, this is one that I was in. Actually got a sell signal here on this one today too. And I had gotten out on this, when was it, Friday afternoon, right in here, because it basically gone too long, hadn't done anything. And this is really what they call barbed wire. I mean, this is just, you're just kind of caught up in the barbed wire. It's not going anywhere, and it's time to just kind of say, okay, enough's enough. And thank God I did. So it's now looking like it's rolling over. But honestly, there's something about this stock that I'm not sure I like the way it trades. So I didn't touch this one. Didn't look to try to get into it. I like the looks of Expedia, and I'm staying with Broadcom. So that's where I'm at. I think that's it for tonight. And we'll see what tomorrow holds and what happens with this market. So we'll keep you updated, and have a great Wednesday. Talk to you soon.